G'day and welcome to Provisionally Approved, where the people, quote, go nuts as long as it doesn't get me in jail, unquote. I'm Justin Dalaya, and yes, I've shaved my mole because a lot of people were wondering what's underneath that mo.
Me? Okay. I'm Will. Yeah.
I'm Grace.
And I'm Jess.
That was a horrible beginning, but let's move forward.
Let's
move forward and forward. We need to show you bad beginnings, because sometimes the bad beginnings, sure, they're horrible, but they have a better ending.
That's a good philosophy on life.
So, Jess, what's new with you?
A lot. I'm just preparing to shoot a short film next week, so that's slightly stressful, dealing with public liability insurance and catering.
Yeah, so imagine you still got all your hair intact.
Oh, I'm surprised I haven't gone grey, honestly. But it'll be fun, because I'm working with some awesome people, so...
Beautiful. Grace, how are you going today?
Yeah, good. I've had all of the stuff that I spoke about last time all come to an end, so I'm on holidays now, and it's quite strange, to be honest.
Yeah. No
Yeah.
pressures, no nothing, and now you're wondering, what the hell do I do now?
I mean, I've got a few things going on, but I'm not producing programs every week, so it's a bit different.
Right.
Yeah.
How about you, Will? How you been, mate?
Oh, well, I don't actually remember at what point I was here last. So,
I think you were here a couple of weeks ago.
yeah, it wasn't
Jess.
long ago.
Yeah, you were here when I was first on the show.
So, but it feels like a long time ago. So, I don't really, I can't really remember off the top of my head what would be different between now and then.
You didn't spoil any shows, which left me absolutely devastated.
That was an episode where we talked about how you were mad for us not spoiling anything. And
Yeah, I remember. And I was watching Jessica Jones at the time, so it mustn't have been that long ago because I've still got 2 episodes to go.
I've been telling myself every day I should watch it, but I still haven't.
Great. And it hasn't lost steam yet, and I've got 2 episodes left.
I saw this amazing kind of tweet about the show, and it was like, men watching Jessica Jones. Oh, this show is ridiculous. All of the characters are women, and any of the male characters are either eye candy or they're evil. Oh, I get it.
So basically, for guys like me who've never seen the show, basically I'm going, because I have no clue what is going on.
I'm in the same boat.
High five. That is a high five. Us people who don't watch Jessica need to stick together. But now
you should be watching me, really. But
wait. The show's about you?
It is. I'm a superhuman, and I beat the shit out of men.
Okay, moving on before Jess ends up beating me up for no particular reason at all.
No.
We're going to talk about today,
safe.
catering. Look here, we've got a lot of food today.
Thank you.
It's alright, TV snacks.
Got a lot left.
Do you want me to talk about a lot about catering? Because I think everyone here has had different experiences of catering on set. Like for me, I'm originally a indie film producer from Adelaide. So when I first did film, I didn't really think about my budgets or anything, and usually we supplied our own lunch. So basically, we went on set and I bought a few little snacks, and then on lunch everyone went and bought their own things. But I'm sure since being in Melbourne, I've had to learn to do catering. So I would like to hear everyone's different opinions on the catering. My
philosophy with food as a producer is that if you actually ask people to do stuff for free for you, at least feed them. That's what I do. I will spend money on feeding a crew before I'll spend money on art department. Yeah. Personally. So basically, it's just your way of saying thank you for coming in the set. You're not paying anything. We'd love to honour you, but having some food. That's a good way. That's a good way of doing things. I think every set, especially since I've been in Melbourne, I've always made sure there's a catered. Even though Provisionally Approved, I make sure there's snacks here for us to munch on. Although a lot of people are hating that because they're blaming me for their weight gain. It's film sets. You can't eat healthy on a film set.
Yeah, it's close to impossible. You can have all the fruit and veg plates that you want, but
the thing is, because you always have the chips and everything else, and you notice on set, chips are always gone.
They're always
but also, I think as a conversation has been previously mentioned that it's not good to have carbs on set because it makes people feel very tired. So you could eat tons of carb, eating lots of bread, a lot of pasta, everything carb friendly, and you're just like,
yeah, pretty much.
What's going on?
Personally, being on the other end of it, I've never had to go onto great lengths to control catering for anything that I've done. I've always just been receiving the catering. But from my end of it, I do really appreciate it when healthier foods come out, because I do know that once I start snacking on the chips, I'll eat them all and I'll claim them as much as possible.
I'm a heavy guy, which means as soon as there's food on set, I'll eat it. And then I have to cater extra for guys like me, especially with my production film 101. There are a lot of bigger guys there. So basically, you had to pretty much get nearly double because there were just guys there who will eat 2 or 3 more serves.
Yeah, and especially in a place like Melbourne, you have to think very specifically about the type
Yeah.
of people you're catering for on
Yeah.
set. Cause,
Well, that's it.
you
I think
know,
that's why every set. I never did this in Adelaide because everyone provided their own food. But once I was in Melbourne, I was like, you have to talk to people about their catering needs because a lot of people are gluten intolerant.
Yeah.
I knew one guy. I knew him from stand up, and he was gluten intolerant. He faced his greatest fear on his first stand up: the bag of self-rising flour, because he's gluten intolerant.
Mm.
I see.
So we always had to be mindful. So whenever we did pizza or anything like that, I had to make sure I had a non-gluten intolerant cover for my friend, but usually provided for himself. But being in Melbourne, you have to be very conscious, especially vegans, vegetarians. So that's why you got to ask automatically, why your dietary restrictions.
Yeah, am
Yeah.
I the only one that's surprised about how many vegans you can get on a set? Like, every set that I've worked on, there's always, like, a few vegans just
I think
hanging
in
around.
the entire production that I'm working on at the moment, like the entire crew, I think there's one vegan.
Actually, the first set that I worked on this year, which was a web series, and we had, we had one vegan on set, and I remember me and the director were like running around Coles trying to find things that were available for vegans, and we just Googled stuff on our phone, and we found out that Oreos are vegan. So we just got like 10 boxes of Oreos. Like, she can eat these, right? She better like Oreos, because we're not getting her
I hope
anything
she's on a
else.
diet because she's getting all these Oreos.
Yeah.
She's gonna get fat today.
Yeah.
So-
That and hummus. A lot of hummus. Every day on set we had a tub of hummus.
Yeah, hummus is amazing.
It is the most
Have we had
incredible thing.
halal yet? Have you had like a Muslim on set who's required halal food?
No.
Halal's
I
not
have
that
worked
hard
on-
to do though.
I mean, nearly everything's halal these days. You've got halal
Yeah.
butchers and everything else, which is good, especially if you've got a Muslim on set who's...
I
Yeah.
think with halal it would be really easy to just put them under the vegetarian category.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think there's a few other little things that they can't eat as well. It's mostly meat. I think it's like how the animal is.
Yeah, how the
Yeah.
animal has been killed,
And,
essentially.
yeah.
Because when I was 16, I worked at a McDonald's that was halal, so we had a very strong Muslim community coming into that restaurant and asking about what burgers were halal and what were not and all that sort of stuff.
So is
But the funny thing I found was that I'd like, someone would ask, is this burger halal? And I'm like, no, sorry, unfortunately not. And they're like, oh, fuck it, just give it to me. And they'll just be like, whatever. And I'm like, okay, you go do that thing.
I think because like my stepdad and all my step siblings are halal, they can't eat pork. They can eat any fish, but all the other meats need to be prayed for first. Yeah.
Yeah.
Reminds me, it's a bit. I think it's a little bit inappropriate, but you got the Simpsons sketch where Jewish, because Jewish can't eat pork, and it's like, don't eat pork, not even a bite, can't touch us. And Homer's is like, Marge, are we Jewish? No, Homer. Woohoo! Bang! Bring out this big pig.
Oh my god.
Speaking of which, I've got a few Christmas parties coming up, and you got the pig on the spit,
Yep.
which is coming up. And a lot of because there's a few women coming to these parties, and they don't like seeing, because with a pig on the spit, you see the head, but unfortunately, so. Us men, as long as you don't see the animal being alive, it's not too bad of a deal. If I see the animal alive, I can't eat it because it's like, I knew that animal back when it was alive, and now you're forcing me to eat it. Oh my god! But yeah, if it was an animal I didn't know, I was like, yeah, I'll eat it anyway.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting because you got certain. Okay, I think we should move on from food, but I'll finish this very quickly with a lamb on spit, because you don't see the head or anything, you just see the meat rolling around. So I think people will prefer that compared to seeing you, because you might get. I think a lot of people get put off with seeing the pig rotating around and around like the Middle Ages, where they all just knock the animal to death and throw it on a spit.
Yeah, people don't want to be confronted by that.
Especially these days.
I actually think like. I'm not a vegetarian, but I think if you eat meat, you should be able to confront that. Like, I think it's really important to understand what it is.
Yeah,
like,
where
it's
your
a
food
pig.
source is really coming
Like,
from.
yeah, if you're eating a bit of bacon, it's still a pig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still comes from a pig, and if you're okay with that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But I just think you should be aware.
Yeah, for me, I'm good as long as it's not my own pet. I cannot eat. I will not be a good, guy who. What do you call those people? The ones who look after animals and then leave them to farmers and all that. I cannot be a farmer who raises pigs to be only slaughtered, or I have to have a heartless attitude towards it. And you also notice with animals as well, they sense and they know that their time's coming to be slaughtered.
Yeah.
Because I've been there in a few situations where I've had to let a few lambs and stuff to go to a abattoir, and they know. I know whether it's the smell, whether it's the attitude, but they know. Animals have a sensory of, this is it. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Help me. I don't
But
want
that
to
just
die.
makes it all the more sad.
Yeah.
There's ways of I used to live on a farm and we used to do sheep and pigs. It was wool, but
Yeah.
when you'd sometimes have stuff that you would breed for meat.
Yeah.
And it's just the way that you handle it. Like, yeah, they can know sometimes, but I think they only know because the people know.
Yeah.
So if
So
you...
basically, if the people don't know and the people act normal no matter what, the animal doesn't know. And basically, the animal's like, oh, where am I going today? What's this knife doing here?
Yeah. Kind of.
So basically, everyone's naive. No one knows what's going on. It's all... No, we're not sending the animal away to get eaten. No. We're sending it to a beautiful farm where it roams free in the gardens.
Yeah, it's like when you're a kid and your parents tell you, oh, your dog went to a farm. It's happy. It's dead.
At least it's not being eaten.
At least it's not being eaten, that's true.
But still, you don't want your kids to know that I kind of accidentally hit Timmy with the car. I actually remember dealing with confronting a dog's death when I was a child, and this dog I grew up around, basically from when I was born, that dog was always there. So when that dog passed away, I think, but we all knew he was dying. He was not well, and I think I was 8 years old, so I think I knew the concept the dog was going to die, basically. So it's just like, oh, my poor dog's gone. And he was a well-mannered dog and everything, so I thought it was a bit sad for a bit, but you tend to get up and move on, I think.
Yeah, you can't Frank and weenie it, unfortunately.
Frank and Weenie it?
Frankenstein, but a dog.
Yeah, that Tim Burton film. I tried to do something and it didn't work.
Okay, and in random other non-weird segues.
Well, it's bringing us back to media.
Yeah, because that's what we're meant to be talking
Yeah.
We're supposed to be, but it seems like so far tonight we've been talking nothing about meat. Although it has something to do with
food,
catering,
yeah.
And
catering,
pets.
and then somehow we've gone into farming, abattoir. My bad, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not usually this bad with animals. And any vegetarians of the show, I do apologise, but I do love meat. I'm so sorry. Anyway, moving back on to the show and what we're doing over here.
Yep.
So let's talk about other... have we got anything else to say on catering? I'm guessing, everyone's said their bit and pieces.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, I love having snacks constantly. But
Yeah.
I actually think it really helps on a set. It really...
Yeah, a fed actor is a happy actor.
Yeah,
and
and
an actor that works well.
if you give them options, like I think on big professional sets they'll often have a catering table, which is always there, and
Yeah.
it's always full of like just snacks that people can go to
Yeah.
whenever they just need something to eat.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do with this film that we're working on. We're trying to organise a table that's just constantly there
Yeah.
for people to go to.
And I'd hate that because I'm the guy who's always at the table. As soon as I've got nothing to do,
There's always
there
that
I
one
am.
You keep
I'm
it-
like,
Yeah.
You keep it a little walk away from the table, like it's generally not in the same room. So if people actually, like if someone's supposed to be setting up lighting or something, they actually have to leave the room to go get food. So if they're in the middle of something, they're not going to be eating it. But
Yeah.
the option is there to just go, I'm going to go get a Tim Tam or something. And it's also really important if you've got like diabetics on set,
Yeah.
because they sometimes won't tell you that as a dietary requirement.
Well, I spent a day doing just the stand-in role for MasterChef when they were practicing their lighting and sound and stuff. Their catering was amazing.
Oh, it must have been.
Yeah. So everyone goes down to this kind of big hall and they've got just the best food and so much selection and just really healthy stuff, and there's nothing that unhealthy on there. You've got rice and beans and not a bit of carbs, but not too much. Like I don't think you'd get that tired from it. And then back at the place where we were, we had like more snacks if you were still hungry afterwards. And
That's fantastic.
yeah, I was really
Pretty much well
impressed.
fed, and no, there's not too much unhealthy food. So you diabetics, don't worry, you'll not have a sugar episode from.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
If you're a food
And
lover, go work on MasterChef.
you just assume like on MasterChef you get good catering.
That's good.
Yeah.
Well, I found budget-wise, I like 90% of things I've worked on, I've done stuff to do with the money, and catering for smaller budget things is always like the biggest chunk of
really
the budget,
is, yeah.
and the more expensive the project
Well,
gets.
I think the main, because I did my web series Film 101, the main budget was, like you just said, but catering. So
Yeah,
basically
same
me and
here.
my, because me and my other producer friend, basically we said, okay, we're halves with the budget, so we paid $25 each, so it was $50 per episode basically, or like $20, so $40. So, every now and again we'd be able to splurge on, about 5 or 6 pizzas, which was enough to feed a cast, or we'd get, do a bit of a sausage sizzle, or we'd, just get a whole bunch of fruit, veg, and, a few bits to make your own sandwiches and stuff like that, which is good, because then people are able to pick
Yeah.
what they want.
I feel like that's a really good option to have on set, like people make your own sandwiches and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
With the web series that I worked on, we found out that we thought catering was going to be extremely expensive, but it turned out that we were under budget for that, so we didn't have to spend as much money as we
That's
had to
good.
on catering, and so we decided, you know what, on the very last day, let's get the most expensive bottle of champagne from the bottle and just crack it open, and that's what we did, and it was brilliant.
So basically, so you got your funding from somewhere else, obviously, for the budgets.
It was actually out of pocket because the writer and director Mary, this was a personal project for her, and this was her first big film thing, and it was extremely indie.
Yeah.
So she had been saving money over time to
Oh wow! So
budget the whole thing.
Yeah. So me, because I'm an amateur filmmaker, usually I'm always going low budget. So basically, my number one main thing these days is always catering. Catering, and because usually you try and get the locations for free, you know, and usually you can get away with it. You might have to get a few permits here and there.
Yeah.
Try and do it without the permit and try not to get fined. I mean, that's usually my personal preference, but
Yeah.
it is a very risky move, of course.
Have you ever been fined?
No, I haven't. So,
No, no,
yeah.
right.
But you
It's a
really
bit of a
got.
risky
I,
business.
I don't even know how much the fine is.
See, I never knew about it till this year, so I'm starting to learn a little bit more
It's
about.
like a couple $100, isn't it?
I think
It depends what council region. Apparently, in
Yeah.
the city of Melbourne, if you have a crew of 6 or less, it's free. You
'Cause
don't
it's
have to
low
worry about
impact.
permits or anything.
Yeah, that's
It's low
true,
impact.
actually, yeah.
it's low impact shooting.
Yeah, because we've been looking at public liability insurance, and it turned out that it would cost us $800 for public liability.
Yeah,
And
you got to have at least $20 million to apply for the city of Melbourne.
It's ridiculous.
Really? So,
But if you go through a university or
Yeah, that's the thing with if you go to somewhere like RMIT or something like that.
theirs is like 30.
Yeah.
okay. So pretty much, you've got to, because that's a very interesting thing, and I think it'll be the next thing we're doing as I get more and more involved in the film industry. Is I have to look at public liability insurance,
Yeah.
and that's a very interesting because, especially if you've got stunts. You know, last film production I was on, there was basically one scene where they literally beat the girl's head, and we did everything possible to protect her head, but they had the liability insurance in case anything did go wrong.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which is a very critical.
I've come to the point where I'm just like, I say no to stunts
Yeah.
whenever we have to do them. It's like you have, like at this stage when we've got the budgets we've got, it's not worth the risk when you can
Yeah.
imply that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're waiting for the bigger budget show to be able to then go, okay, well, it's well worth the risk now because we've got the bigger, because we can afford stunt directors. And
Yeah, well,
everything
like
else.
it's stunts because 9 times out of 10 you have to half fake a stunt anyway.
Yeah, that's it. You don't actually want to smash your head against the thing, but you want
Yeah.
to make it look like
Yeah, it's
you
all
smashed their head.
it's all about angles and all that
That's
sort of
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it was,
what
it was
you-
with this
what you can
production.
capture, yeah.
So basically, it was like 2 or 3 different angles, and basically, it was interesting. This one I did a few different things, and the stunt, pretty much like a stunt coordinator was one of the roles. So basically, it was last minute. It was like, well, this guy's going to fall on the floor, but we want to actually hit the floor. So basically, we got 2 of the guys to come in and just catch her
Yeah.
and make sure she landed safely. So basically, good workout for me because it gave me a chance to train my triceps and
Try
everything.
your upper body strength.
Pretty much, but also at the same time, it's like trying to catch not the wrong part of the body. Go, no, okay, you're safe. That's it. I didn't mean to feel that area. I'm very sorry.
Yeah.
Like I'm in the middle of writing like a murder thriller with people, and we're like it's pretty much talking and moving around and stuff.
What about
There's,
like with
like-
do you have any gunshots or like stab stuff?
We've got one moment where there is a gun fired, but we actually start the whole thing about the second afterwards, so we never actually have to fire it on camera.
So basically, it's like a noise effect. It's like people.
I don't
talking-
even think we hear it.
Okay.
It's just implied.
Yeah.
The thing. Yeah. The thing.
What happened
the
here?
one
A
looking
gun's
at,
apparently been fired 5 seconds ago, and there's a dead corpse here with a lot of blood. Stand back! This is a murder scene.
The
More
thing
or
with the
less.
film that I'm working on is that we're using like clever camera angles and like choreography to show like a shooting or something like that. So we're having like the victim walk momentarily in front of the camera, and then we have the bang sound effect, and then the person will drop, and then you
So
have
basically, it's like the
yeah.
Kennedy assassination. Basically,
Kind
just,
of, yeah. We're kind of filming we're not filming the Kennedy assassination. Oh, but it's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I think there's an itchy and scratchy one, which is based on a real life assassination. So basically, they're walking down. Basically, the guy comes in front, bang, and you don't really see the gun.
Yeah, that's
So
fun.
basically, like it's me and you facing. I'm walking up to you, it's like bang, and the camera just caught the back of the person. You don't really see the gun being fired, or you might see the gun slightly being fired, but
Yeah.
oh my god, the cat is gone. The itchy and scratchy show.
We've talked a lot about Simpsons.
Sorry, that is just my standard
You're on a
run for
Simpsons
Simpsons.
binge.
My childhood was Simpsons. So basically, if I look at everything I've learned about American culture, I can base it on a Simpsons quote. That basically, especially early Simpsons or like TV shows, basically they all reference things that happened in in some point of history. Like every show in the 90s had done the line, the dingo ate my baby.
Oh, of course.
Perhaps the dingo ate your baby. Seinfeld did it, Simpsons did it, Frasier did it. Pretty much all the shows at that era did the line, maybe the dingo got your baby.
Yeah. I remember it being in... Have you seen Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
I remember that being in Tropic Thunder. Every time I think about that line, I think about the one when it was
I
said
don't
in
remember
Tropic
how, I
Thunder.
don't remember how it happened there, but...
It's like, oh, did a dingo steal your baby? And Robert Downey Jr.'s like, that actually happened, you know?
Well, that's right.
A woman lost her child. It's so funny. So inappropriate, but so funny. Oh my god.
I think most comedies are inappropriate these days anyway,
Oh,
or
extremely.
you're bound to offend someone at some stage, or...
Yeah, like there's only so far you can go with like political incorrectness and correctness and all that sort of stuff.
I seem to always like going politically incorrect. Like everything I saw of the 90s culture is all politically incorrect. But now these days it's harder because
these days
now
you have to you have to worry about, oh, maybe this will offend someone. We can't do that joke ever because it will offend someone. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Or you got to do it in a very witty way so that it's explained that we're not out to get anyone. Or like Jerry Seinfeld. I don't think Seinfeld. I reference. I know every show I'm on, I always reference Seinfeld in some way or another. But I've lost my track of mine, so let's not go with me. But basically, I think you got to do it in such the right way, or mention that this is the issue that that no one can really block you out, or you're getting your point across.
What do you guys think?
Personally, I've got a very different stance on that one. Just with politically incorrect jokes and references in general, like I don't think they're that necessary personally, but I think that's because I'm not really into that side of media. I'm more into just live TV stuff. Not journalism, but just like studio-based TV.
Live, you really got to be cautious of everything that goes on.
Yeah, I don't really script things, so
But do you have like a certain second filter for things that go live on air? Because I think it was a lot of wasn't it?
I had a situation where one of my hosts was drawing on the other host's face on 1700, and they were meant to write like "I love 1700" on her cheek because we just had a long outro to film. Next thing I turn around and there's I think it was a Hitler moustache on her, and there's nothing you can do because you're in the control room and they're in the studio, and I don't think it was intentional or anything. It was obviously not intentional. Yeah. But that was definitely like across the line for me. I like to keep things very non-offensive. So that was like a bit of a cross the line moment for me. Anything that is just instantly like anyone could pick that as offending that person. I just don't think it's necessary.
I really I'm probably more on the creative side, like in terms of what I'm passionate about. And I probably sway away from offensive stuff. I mean, I'm not a comedian. I'm not funny. I've never written funny or tried to write funny. But in terms of content, I like drama. I don't mind violent, but actually, referencing a group of people or referencing something that could be offensive.
No, that's where my lines are drawn. If you're trying to... You can't be funny by being racist. You can't be funny by being prejudiced or anything like that. But like for me, a Hitler moustache, I would have just gone, okay, that's fine. But
I just had to give a big speech afterwards about how that's not okay, but there's nothing you can do.
That's right. That's your line, because everyone's got a different line. Like for me, being a Christian, I'm not usually someone who's comfortable with swearing. So for me, any form of swearing is out, basically, with me. It's like, not in this production, but when I write stuff, it's like, no, I make sure my lines are drawn here. And it's been funny because I'm doing the Bogan Bat show at the moment. So basically, any form of swearing I got in it, I make sure I beep it. Because of my view on swearing, basically. So
well, I'm a swear by character when I write. If a character I'm writing would swear, then I make him swear.
Same here.
Like if I've got a character I'm writing at the moment in the murder thing, who's normally fine, but when he goes a bit aggro at times, and he like every second word is the F word.
Necessary and kind of shows a state of mind in that character. And it's totally appropriate.
And I think there's points like a lot of shows overdo the swearing. They just put him in for the sake of it.
I hate that. That's one of my least.
So with me, I think Seinfeld did it well because he only swore a few times. He beeped it. It was like, this yoga is so effing good. And then you see the kid come in, and because the kid came in, it was very inappropriate.
Yeah, and that's like a punchline to a joke.
That's
it.
And
it works. But other times it's just like, oh, let's swear. Let's
I've done stand-up comedy, and everyone, because stand-up's a shock value comedy, So basically, everyone starts swearing, and it made me feel very uncomfortable in the stand-up setting. So it was, and everyone does it. Everyone swears. Everyone curses out the Christian church, and because there's a lot of articles and everything going on. So basically, the stand-ups prey on that, and also there's how can I describe it? There's swear words, references to women, and all the dirty words basically come out. All the dirty references come out in stand-up comedy because there's no one really because everyone's there for that style of humour. So basically, and it's interesting because I'm there trying to be the clean voice of everything.
I think that with a lot of just touchy subjects, I think people who can dish it out to other people but can't take it themselves, that's a definite no. And if I was writing something, not that I would be because I'm not really into writing, but if I was writing something, I'd probably be more likely to put anything that's a bit touchy as an inward reference, someone talking about themselves rather than saying you guys, I feel like that's a bit safer.
Yeah, so basically it's their own experience and basically it's not anyone else's experience, so it's not really offensive. So basically it's just that person's silly moment, something that's gone wrong, and then another person might share it, but then it's not an outward thing, so it's not like they're doing it towards someone.
Yeah, totally.
At the moment I'm line producing a show for Disability Media Australia, and it's a sketch show. And the sketches are all about disability.
Yeah.
And I'm able-bodied, so I'm kind of looking at it from an outside perspective. But I would consider a lot of the stuff that I'm reading to be offensive. And it's like 90% written by people who are part of the disabled community.
Yeah.
About people that are a part of disabled community.
Yeah, I feel if that was communicated in the show, like to the audience, that these are sketches and skits written by people who have disabilities. Then
I think as long as that's pointed out, I think it's like for me, I wouldn't personally laugh because I feel a bit uncomfortable because that's not like I would never go anywhere near disabled jokes. Like that is a big no-no on my behalf. But because they're writing it and it's about because they're laughing about their own experiences, and if it does ill, it is done in the right context.
Like they're not ever like looking at a disabled person trying to do something that an able person can do really easily and laughing at that.
No.
It's 9 times out of 10 laughing at the misconceptions around disabled people.
I think I know the TV show you're talking about, and I do a lot of sketches about that, the misconceptions of people. But also it's the same thing with stand-up, because like a white stand-up cannot go any racial. They can't joke about different ratio types, but because the African Americans, for example, they've been through so much, with slavery and everything else, they're able to joke about that experience and joke about white people. So it also depends on who you are. So it's like with disabled people, they're able to joke about the experiences they have and the struggles they have, I guess, in day-to-day life, which is a different perspective from if I was writing a disabled, I wouldn't, but if I were to write a disabled joke, and how my perspective of it, then their perspective, because they're struggling with it every single day, or they've got, I want to see someone actually do it, but I'm going to show a few joke scenarios of people failing, and then look, this person succeeds in the end. Sorry if I don't make any sense.
No, we understand.
Yeah, so I think, it's just because a disabled person's writing, it's on their perspective. It's just like an African American who's experiencing racism on a daily level. They experience it, so they're able to joke about it. As a white guy, we don't experience it, so we can't joke about it.
I feel like only white people can joke about white people. So it's like, how dumb are we, hey? Starbucks? What's that about?
So I wouldn't even go there, because I've got an interesting background, because my mum's born in India, so I joke a bit about that, the misconceptions about myself. So basically people think, I'm Italian, I'm just a white Australian, who's from England, and everything else. So I can sort of joke a bit about that, but then that's where I stop and go, okay, moving on. Yeah. And then joke about all the weird things that happen in my life. So
I don't know, like for me, I've seen white people joke about other people. Like everyone just jokes about everyone. It's not great. For me, when it comes to making media, I just try to focus on just only providing a platform for positive things rather than, I would not slip a joke in there. I just, it's just not something I would do.
Someone who's, because I've done comedy stuff for about 4 years now, and generally, because I'm a positive person, so with me, I name a production company, Positive Dalaya Productions. So for me, generally, I joke, when I write joking sketches just about a guy trying to ask a girl out, everything goes wrong, or a panel show where a guy's trying to get advice, and basically gets misled, and basically in the end, he asks a girl out, and because the guy said throw an egg, he threw an egg. And then, episode 2, the girl who didn't like that girl basically asked him out. So basically now he's trying to get advice on how to survive the date. and then he ends up in a fight scene in the end by accident by the panelists from the first show because he got fired for giving awful advice in the first episode.
My goodness.
Yeah, the weird head of me and my comedy writing team in Adelaide. By the way, all my friends in Adelaide, love yous and hope to see you soon. Don't know
Love
what
you
happened.
too.
Yeah, see, someone loves you.
Yeah.
I mean, my issue is when I'm writing, and I don't really do the comedy thing, and I'm a really big story person,
Yeah.
so it's really difficult for me to, when my characters are talking to one another, I pretty much avoid things that aren't really plot relevant or character relevant.
Yeah.
So like, I'm not really going to have the chance to slip in something racial or something.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
me,
something like that.
I'm a story person as well. Like, I'm a comedian person. I love adding my punchlines and everything, but somehow, because I'm trying to add jokes and add a story, I make a 5-minute script a 15-minute script.
Yeah,
so
I do the same thing.
Yeah. So I think that's just based on the story things. You want to keep the story going, and you got to add subtext to the story,
Yeah.
and then come back into the story. So it's
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
I'm someone who really needs to like continuously rewrite things, because the first time I write something, it's always like a 45-page script when it could be a 15-page script.
Yeah.
I'm constantly rewriting because I'm working on a feature as well. I'm working on a sci-fi feature,
yeah.
and I'm just constantly redrafting and looking back because you have to. One of the toughest things I've found is that you have to have a constant idea of each of your individual character voices so they don't
Yeah.
blend together.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
See, that's an issue I always have.
Yeah.
I always get out the plot dialogue, and then I'll go, okay, what are their voices? And
yeah, and
I'll,
like what do they want at the end of
Yeah.
each scene? And
Yeah.
I'm having trouble with that at the moment. I'm trying to find out what
with
this
me,
person
I
actually
generally
wants.
at the beginning I know where I want to end up, and in the middle I'll follow the character. So
Yeah.
as I'm writing, I think what the character's feeling at the moment. What is the character supposed to react? If they're meant to get angry, they're meant to get angry. If they and sometimes a comical thing I say they won't get mad because that's
Yeah.
a comedy punchline. But then most of the time you go on with what the character's going through, and you got to think as the character. So that's why it's hard for me to write sometimes, because it's hard for me to get into that mind of the character.
Yeah, sometimes when you write characters and you're writing about experiences that you yourself haven't experienced. So I'm writing from the perspective of a middle-aged man who's lost his daughter, and he never had a close relationship with
Yeah.
his daughter, so he's trying to redeem himself, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to put myself in that mindset,
Wow.
which is
So-
extremely difficult.
Yeah.
I'm my first draft is always it's basically just plots. Like, what does a
Yeah.
character want by the end of the scene, and what's going to happen to them? And then I write dialogue, which just basically leads to that. And then once I have that, which is generally per scene is like 6 or 7 pages of script, I can then cut out most of it and be
Yeah.
like, this is exposition that can be done through art department or through direction and stuff like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
This can be condensed into this line but still be simple. And then I'll generally add another page or two, which is just like mundane dialogue that
Yeah.
can be used for like character development or like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so you always have to be moving plot, story, and character development
Yeah.
forward, always.
So me doing Bogan Bachelor, I've written long scripts, and basically the way I'm going to cut it down is I'm going to have my table reads. Basically, once the script's written, I get all the characters together and read it and just see how it goes.
yeah, well that's
And because especially because I'm wanting comedy, I'm wanting punchlines and everything, laughing basically from start to end. I'm basically going to observe it and go, okay, now with this works, this scene doesn't work. I want to totally rewrite this scene because I didn't know what I was thinking when I wrote it, and go from there. And especially it's very touchy because it's the Bogan Bachelor. So basically, you're dealing with your bogans, your pharaohs, and you've got the people who's trying to fix up the bogan, and then you've got the people who are in it just to try and get famous, and yeah, so all the weird cliches sort of all come together. So
There's going to be some mad people in Rudy Hill or something like that.
yeah,
But yeah.
yeah, so very interesting, especially seeing different writing styles all
Yeah.
come together. So I guess now I'm guessing we're talking about writing. I guess now we're going to pre-production now.
Yeah, pre-production.
And one thing I've always been fascinated is budget, because like I've mentioned previously, being an indie filmmaker, I've just focused on the of course we're talking about the food budget, which is normally a big. But I'm guessing you guys have experienced with bigger budgets, so I'd love to hear your input towards budgets.
maybe not that much bigger.
Oh yeah, probably not. I know, to be honest.
Um,
yeah. Sorry.
I've worked on a lot of, like, I did an internship with a freelance producer, and she did a lot of music videos.
Yeah.
She didn't do anything like, she didn't do a feature or anything,
Yeah.
but she did a few like Alice in Wonderland and presets and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're all one-day shoots generally,
Yeah.
but the budgets for them are gigantic. It's like, $10,000, $15,000 a day.
Wow.
And it's always, the amount that they spend on art department is insane.
Yeah, it's so different with the music video.
Yeah.
It's all about art department.
Yeah.
We've gone to the old days of the 70s where the band just plays in front of a black background and plays their music and everything else.
Yeah, but now music videos have to include like a narrative, or they have to be
Yeah.
totally avant-garde, or...
I love music videos.
same
Like
here.
I would
too.
I would
too.
happily professionally make music videos.
Same
And
here.
there's always been new music coming out and new forms of music. That's always going to be a market that never dies, I guess.
I don't know what it is about music videos. For me, someone who prefers a more controlled or factual project, I mean, I'll do location, but it's always very factual. I don't try to set things up. There's something about music videos that really does appeal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't work out what it is.
It's for me it's like the peak of short film.
Yeah.
It's like this
Especially
is
with the Michael Jackson mid-80s when he came out with Thriller, and that changed the whole
Yeah,
Yeah.
that changed music videos forever.
Yeah, because before then it was just a band in front of a nice background basically. So like one of my favourite bands is AC/DC. So I'm thinking of the first band with Brian Johnson coming in, which was Back in Black. You Shook Me All Night Long, and basically the whole album was done. Every song was done with the same background, with the same costume. They basically just did the whole live album and recorded live. But then a few years later, they couldn't do it that way anymore because of Michael Jackson's Thriller. Now everyone's in short films. Michael Jackson did, Thriller was only a 3-minute video, but then it became a 15-minute short film. And you love it, because I was watching Michael Jackson videos a few weeks ago, because it's just the way the videos are, they're structured very well and just keep you entertained.
well that set up the formulas we have for music videos now. And like before then I think Bohemian Rhapsody and stuff, Bohemian Rhapsody had sections of it that weren't just a live performance.
Yeah. Well, they had like the different, I see the silhouette of a man, you see the 3 heads of
Yeah.
Freddie Mercury.
Yeah. And these days we're just basically building on that concept.
Yeah.
And I think there's only so many ways you can take, a bit like film, there's only so many ways you can take film.
I think
when you
eventually
look
you have
at
to go back old school. Like me, I'm an old school theatre guy, so for me, and even with sitcoms, I'd take it to an old school standard. Like for me, I'd go not completely the way it used to be, but I bring a perspective of what it used to be, or adding a bit of a modern script writing and modern technology, like bringing Facebook and everything else and all those jokes. But then you keep the old school setup of the apartment and a live studio audience. While most sitcoms these days are not live film, they are usually one camera, and you can take as much time as you want with it.
Yeah, and you've got laughing tracks, obviously.
Yeah.
This is weird coming from me because I'm one of the most convoluted people when it comes to telling a story, but I cannot stand music videos that try to tell a complicated story anymore. It's like, if you want to do that, make it long, don't put it down into 3 minutes. There's no point, because you're just going to take out everything that's interesting
Or
about that
stretch it out over
storyline.
like multiple music
Yeah,
videos, if
yeah.
that's even possible.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like what Sia did.
Yeah.
She had that ongoing narrative with this singular character over multiple music videos, which I love. I love those music videos so much.
Yeah.
They're all fantastic.
It's like, I know it's not a music video, but Mad Max Fury Road,
Yeah.
that's like, for me, that is the perfect example of a story.
Yeah.
Because it is 2 hours of this one singular plot line. And it's the same plot line. They've got tiny little plot details that could be potential plot lines, but they don't
But it
explore
never goes
them.
away from the plot. Basically, it's the plot. Because you've always, especially when you're doing sitcoms, you've got 2 or 3 stories in one episode. So within a 30-minute block, you're telling 2 or 3, maybe 4 stories. Like you're saying, it's one story all the way through.
Yeah,
It
it's...
doesn't go into a side segue.
I don't know if you guys have learnt... You probably would know the 7 basic plot lines.
Yes, that
Yeah.
sounds really familiar.
Can you
I probably
explain
can't
it?
name them.
So there's
I'm
this...
making a short film next year with my diploma. I should probably
There's a
Yeah.
theory
get my head
that...
around it. Yeah.
There's a theory that all plot lines, all stories in film are based off versions of the same 7 plot
Yeah,
lines.
this is this from Save the Cat? Because that's like one of the classic screenwriting books that screenwriters should read. It's
think-
called Save the Cat, and it has that sort of chapter about the 7 basic plot lines that
Yeah,
and all
it's
the
a
films that
really...
fall under them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really common theory.
Yeah.
There'll be some films that are like an amalgamation of 2 of these plot lines or something like that.
Yeah. And then there's
Like-
all these yeah.
Like Lord of the Rings has them all. But Mad Max is just one. It's just the quest. It's it's just we need to
Yeah.
get to something because we need something from there. Or we need to get there because it's safe or something like that. We just need to go,
Yeah.
and that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just,
and
It's like The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, or
yeah,
that
yeah,
kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Charlie
Like
and the Chocolate Factory.
yeah, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And there's all different ones. There's like
Basically, it's just one story and nothing changes. Basically, that one story, there's no side stories or side plots. It's basically one story of trying to get to one position.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of what
Yeah.
Mad Max has perfected over the years.
yeah,
Yeah.
and Yeah, because the other one's like overcoming the monster, which is, you know, if the whole story is about
Animal
defeating
Kingdom
someone.
or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are the other ones? I used
I
to
think
know
one of
them
them's
all.
like buddy love or something like that. Like two people who have conflict at the beginning, but then they learn to.
Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rush Hour. Every single buddy cop movie.
Oh, Rags to Riches is one.
Yeah.
So I watched Rush Hour 3 the other day, and I just found it hilarious. In number 3, they're arguing about the fact that what was it? Chris Tucker's character shot Jackie Chan's girlfriend. And they're arguing about it and playing. Isabella was my girlfriend. But what happened, man? You shot her. I didn't mean to. I didn't mean to make her all go disability. And oh no, but she's all good. She's back in the CO. Oh, sorry.
Jeez. Going a bit too far.
That's what I love doing.
But
Yeah, I can think of a few. Yeah.
yeah, and when you think of, if you like look up the definitions and stuff, it's really helpful for writing a story because you can be like, if you want to make a simple story, these are like plot lines brought down to their simplest level, and you can just kind of go from there and go up. Or you can say, if you've got a really good idea, you can look at it and say, oh, this kind of already is like that. And if I just, because they define the plot points that are really common in all of these different plot lines, so you can make it, you can kind of define your story better.
So it's almost putting something really logical and structured to a really
Yeah.
kind of all over the place
all over the place
idea.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really helps someone like me who is really convoluted when I write a story.
What does, yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
so what kind of story mode or like kind of plot line would you put your film that you're working on under?
As in the thriller one.
Yeah.
Of them,
Yeah.
wow. It's probably a little like Rebirth. Rebirth's one of the ones.
What does
It's-
that mean?
So Rebirth is when a character is kind of defeated and comes into their own.
Okay, yeah.
They generally come into their own in the end, but this is more like the coming into your own is like at the very start. And maybe a little bit Rags to Riches.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, so is that one of the writing styles? Rags to Riches.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so kind of like a Cinderella story.
Yeah, pretty
or,
much.
Boxing movie like Rocky.
Or Annie.
Is it? Annie, yep.
Yeah, like exactly.
Yeah. So basically, it's like one guy's got one shot, one opportunity. Now it's going to sound like a lot like Eminem. Would you capture it? Oh, let's sick. Check it out. So palms sweat, knees weak, arms heavy, his bum and sweater already. Mum, spaghetti. He's nervous. Sorry.
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
I
yes.
only hear spaghetti and that's all I just think
Yeah.
spaghetti.
And there's also this school of thought where you apply everything. You know how pretty much everything you can apply narrative to, and so everything you can find what of these plot lines it is. Like there's even ads like Mortine ads are overcoming the monster because you're killing Louis the Fly.
Yeah, Louis got that one bug who dies, but he comes back in the next commercial.
Yeah.
So I wonder how many lines of Frank the Bug you've got now. It's probably about what, 20, 30?
Yeah.
Probably.
And then there's tragedy, which would be like work safe ads.
Mortine!
Does tragedy just mean nothing good happens? in it?
Tragedy, well, it's tragedy is when the protagonist doesn't succeed,
Ah.
pretty much.
I think,
Romeo and
see, me,
Juliet.
I'm probably more attracted to adverts, I think. You know, some, weird, wacky adverts. Although the ones, you get adverts you like and, they get your attention. Or you get the ones that get your attention but in the bad way, like the big annoying adverts. Mr. Bankrupt, here trying to get you. Come here, this product saving. I've got an annoying voice. You'll come over and see my bugs because I've got an annoying voice and you hate me. Yeah, so basically it's like
I
an
already felt a
Adelaide.
little bit annoyed. I'm a slightly.
Frank
But there
Walker
was an
from
advert
National
called Mr.
Times.
Bankrupt in South Australia, and basically it was this annoying voice, and you can't help but it's got your attention because it's got such an annoying voice. Or like the another one in South Australia was Designer Direct, which was an annoying advert. Designer Direct. All right, guys. Well, I think we'll leave it right there. Thank you very much for tuning in. I'm Justin Dalaya. We've had William, Grace, and Jess. Catch you next time on Provisionally Approved.